Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Blissful Biz podcast, the first episode in 2025. Today, we're diving deep into the world of yoga retreats with expert Brytta Moreira. If you've ever thought about hosting a retreat or are looking to level up your retreat business, this episode is packed with actionable strategies and current trends that are working right now. Brytta helps retreat hosts sell out their programs, and she's sharing her extensive experience in retreat marketing, from building genuine connections with potential guests to creating effective sales systems. We discuss everything from when to start promoting your retreat to how to structure your offerings for maximum impact. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refresh your approach to retreat hosting, you won't want to miss this value-packed conversation. I'm Susanne Riker, digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience, turned yoga teacher, turned six-figure online business owner. 10 years ago, I flew to Bali for a yoga teacher training, fell in love with the island, and decided to build an online business so I could live there. Can't be that hard, right? That decision launched me into an adventure bigger than I'd ever imagined. Over the last 8 years, I've guided over 1,000 yoga teachers and hard-led coaches how to launch and sell their digital offers, build their brand and websites, and build a profitable online business. In this podcast, I share real proven strategies and the exact steps that work. Whether you're just starting out or ready to scale, we'll dive into everything from creating offers your students can't resist to making digital marketing work for you. If you're ready to build a business that brings both freedom and success, you are in the right place. Welcome to the Blissful Biz podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited and grateful to be here.
Oh, me too. It's so nice to reconnect. Before we dive in, can you just quickly introduce yourself, what you do, who you help, where you are?
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Brytta Moreira. I am in Lisbon, Portugal. Soon we'll be in London, UK. And I help retreat hosts sell out their retreats and yoga teacher trainings. That's what I do. And my audience is mainly women over 30 hosting retreats all around the world.
I love it, and it's so needed. It's actually how I got into yoga, from a yoga
Yeah.
retreat. Before that, I did a few classes in a studio, in a gym, and I didn't really felt anything. So it was like so weird. And then I went to actually it was like 2 weeks, what, 2 yoga retreats in a row, one Kundalini and one Ashtanga Vinyasa
Oh my God.
On Ibiza back in 2007. Oh my God. And then I really fell in love with yoga and with yoga retreats. And my first online business was a yoga retreat directory, Yovunga.
Oh my God. I remember, I didn't know the name of it, but I remember you having the retreat directory. And I love that you did. I call it like a yoga sandwich, like a retreat back to back. I love that.
Yeah, so it really, really changed my life. So I haven't been on a yoga retreat in a while. It's getting more difficult when you're traveling and then when you
Yeah.
have a dog. But one day. So,
Manifesting it for you.
but thank you. So what brought you to doing that, to help people run their retreats?
Thank you. Yeah. Traveled the world and taught yoga throughout my 20s. And I had a lot of opportunities to work in retreat centers and help the retreat centers market their retreats to hosts or help hosts sell their retreats. I would do like a lot of liaison work and just admin work for them. And I really liked living in paradise locations while helping people run their retreats. And I'm like, this is a really good job. And I want to continue doing this. And also, I saw the impact that it had on people. Like, I fully believe that yoga is here to transform the world. And if we can do that through retreats, then I'm all in. And that's kind of how I got into it. And I started working for a retreat company part time, like learning a little bit more about just how the systems of retreats work. And I took it on my own. And Now I work with people one on one to help them sell out their retreats. And it's so rewarding because so many people get impacted in positive ways by it. And that just shifts the vibration in the universe. So, yeah.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that. And yeah, I know that you've also like have a really extensive background in marketing, in sales, managing yoga studios in the US. So you bring all that to the table. And I'm sure you're going to getting your clients amazing results. So let's talk more about really, I think what would be really interesting is changes. Do you see like changes in how people market retreats, how people sign up for retreats, what's working today? What are trends that you see like moving into 2025? Let's dive into that because I hear from a lot of people that it got more difficult selling retreats.
It is difficult if you don't have a system in place to onboard the people into the retreat, or if you don't have a consistent marketing and sales plan. Something I have learned is when we let our emotions run our business rather than the systems to help us, sometimes it gets hard, like, oh, I didn't get a booking today, or I didn't get a booking yesterday. And then you kind of feel defeated and not motivated to move forward to continue talking to people about it. And with my clients, what I do is I have them talk to 25 new people every week about their retreat. So, and this is just 5 people a day, 5 days a week if we break that goal down. And they can talk to them at their events, they can talk to them on the phone, via text message, via email. And rather than, hey, come to my retreat, like I really just want people to work on creating connections with people, like check in with your audience, create beautiful relationships with them. Some of my dearest friends I found through Instagram who are my lifelong friends. And it wasn't because I was trying to sell them something, it's because I was trying to create a friendship and relationship with them. So I really suggest, from the mindset perspective, doing it from a connection and relational perspective. And then that's really going to help you get the retreat sold out. You need to have a really good landing page for your retreat that gives people multiple ways to book it. I feel one of the biggest mistakes that hosts do is that they only have one booking button on their landing page rather than multiple booking buttons throughout it, because our attention spans are quite short nowadays. And if you only have the booking button at the very bottom, what happens if they don't get to the bottom of the page? Well, then they're not going to book your retreat. So have it throughout the landing page. Also, testimonials are the most important part of getting people to book your retreat because it gives you credibility. And I know, like, what if you've never hosted a retreat before? How are you going to get those testimonials? Well, you get them from your classes, your one on ones, your private clients, from past events that you've hosted. 90% of guests book retreats that have up to date reviews versus those that don't. So that's really important. Another thing that I think we need to work through in the retreat industry from both like retreat center perspective and hosts is that a lot of times retreat centers will kind of have a cutoff date a little bit too early for when a host can decide like if they want to cancel the retreat or not. Whereas what's the percentage of it? I think it's like around like 52% of people book retreats up to 3 days before the retreat, which is crazy.
Wow,
Um,
I know it's a lot, and I know that's something that changed, right? That
yeah.
people book later and later, but I didn't know it's this late.
It is. And, I used to like judge it. And then like I found myself like booking trips the day before and I'm like, oh, I'm that retreat guest. And the reason being is that there's so many people who live in big cities and there's transportation to go out to retreat centers, like out in the countryside and nature. And suddenly like they have a day off or it's a holiday weekend and they have nothing to do. They want to go book a retreat and they want to get out of the city. So I would suggest keeping your doors open at least 72 hours before your retreat, if not 48 hours if you can squeeze it in. I know that can be a little bit panic inducing, but go
That
ahead.
might also depend on the location, right? Like
Yes.
when you do a weekend retreat somewhere close to a big city, yeah, people will probably like join last minute. And when
Yes.
it's something like in Costa Rica or Bali, where people normally have to fly in long distance.
Exactly. That's a little bit
So,
different. Yeah. If
yeah.
like the retreat is like if it's a 3 to 5 day retreat and it's within like a 3 hour drive of a city, what I have learned is that a lot of guests, they want to stay close to home right now. So if they can drive somewhere in under 3 hours, they will go to your retreat. So if you can find a really nice retreat center to host it outside of a city, you're going to get more people coming to it. So those are some things you can do. I also think it's just consistency and following up with people. A lot of times in the yoga industry, we have a little bit of scarcity around talking about sales, talking about money, talking about how we offer our retreats and yoga teacher trainings to people. And what I have learned just within my sales background is if you're like, oh, it's $4,000, people are like, ooh, and they think they can't come to your retreat. But if you say something like, it's 3 payments of this or paid in full at this, you're more likely to get people to come to the retreat because it's now accessible to them from a payment plan structure. As long as you have that payment plan and enough days that they can pay it before your retreat, I don't suggest having people pay upon arrival. So those are some little tricks you can use. And like I said before, it's really inconsistency. Like sometimes you have to follow up with someone up between 13 and 17 times, like they're called touch points, before they're going to book something. And it's not, hey, come to my retreat 13 to 17 times. It's building that nourishment and kind of being the expert in your field. So if you're a breathwork facilitator, maybe it's sending them a few breathwork videos so they can get to know who you are in your work and feel that it's a good fit for them before you get on a call with them. And I always say human connection is where it's at. So if you can get on a call like this with people, they're more likely to book the retreat because one, they know that you're a human. You're not just someone on the internet selling something. They now can ask questions that they have around anything they're scared about. You can help them overcome those fears and then ask them to come on your retreat. And we know that it's going to be life transformative for them. And that's how we need to be selling the retreats. It's not, oh, I need to make money because I don't have enough people signed up. It's like, no, I'm here to serve people and transform lives.
I love that. Yes, 100%. I feel like, like this is something that I've heard from people who've been running retreats for a really long time. And sometimes, like, I think we all do that we are like stuck, but it used to work so well.
Yeah.
And we don't really want to adapt.
No, we don't.
And, it's human nature, but it can really, it can hinder your growth, right? It can really
Yeah.
stop you from moving forward. And instead of just like giving up, even in the worst case.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think what I am learning and what I'm really trying to teach the people I work with is that we have to be adaptable if we want any type of business to work, especially in the retreat industry. And a trend that's happening right now is that people don't just want a yoga retreat because they're comparing your retreat to vacation packages. So if you can offer excursions on your retreat, if you can make everything optional on the retreat. So they don't have to do anything. Maybe they just want to sit on the beach and read a book, and that's the best retreat they'll ever have in their life. Give that as an option. So be flexible in what you offer and also try to include everything 3 meals a day or a big brunch and a dinner every day. If you can offer round trip airport transfer, like see what your competitors, such as hotels and retreats, are doing and offer as much as possible without burning yourself out because the more that you offer and it's still like within the theme of your retreat, the more likely you are to get more bookings because you're offering more than just yoga.
That's a great idea. I think that's a really great point. What do you think about niching down and specializing instead of running like my retreat is for everybody?
I like niching as long as it's not limiting you to only getting a few guests. What I have learned is that sometimes we really love something. Like, for example, I love paddleboard yoga. Not everyone loves paddleboard yoga. And even though I want to host a paddleboard yoga retreat, my audience might not want to go to a paddleboard yoga retreat. So before niching down too much, I suggest just reaching out to your audience and asking them what they want to do. Where do they want to go? Is a weekend retreat better for them, or can they commit to 7 to 14 days and get that information first and then choose to create a niche out of it? And yes, you can still be passionate about it because like there's yoga involved or breath work or whatever you love involved, but you're really niching it to the people who want to work with you. And that is how niching down is going to work within your retreat.
Yeah, that's a great example. Yeah, but not everybody loves paddleboard yoga. I love being on a paddleboard. I don't enjoy doing yoga on the board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
No, I think that's a great point. I feel still, listening to your audience, definitely ask them, do interviews, have chats with a few selected students. But also, so often, I think people are afraid to niche down and saying, like, my retreat it doesn't matter if you've never done yoga before. And when actually the majority of your audience are really advanced students,
And then you're going to
Exactly.
have like this mix of people, and some of them are doing their first yoga class, and others are yoga teachers. And that's just like super, really difficult to teach. And nobody was
Yeah.
going to really enjoy it. So,
Yeah. It doesn't really make sense to me to do it that way because I think a lot of times we say like, "Oh, this yoga is for everyone," or "This retreat is for everyone," and like you said, it's actually not. So you need to know who your audience is, and if they're advanced people who've been practicing yoga for 5 or more years, then host an advanced yoga retreat, and I'm sure they're gonna wanna go on it. And when I say advanced, it doesn't mean like kick your face. Maybe it's like every day is a different style of yoga, so they're
yeah.
learning something every day. So you can still be creative and flexible in the retreat as long as you're talking to the same person. And I think it's not gonna serve everyone if it's a yoga retreat for everyone, because not everyone is like you said, they're not gonna love it, and they're probably not gonna come back or refer their friends to you because it was all over the place rather than something structured yet flexible within it.
Yes. And I think it's fear
Oh, yes.
most often. Like we're afraid to send people away or to say no, and you might still decide it on a case by case
Yes.
basis, right? But yeah, it takes courage to really set your boundaries. This is what this retreat is for. This is who it's for. But I love that example that you said, like, yeah, for example, different styles of yoga every day,
Yeah,
or like have like teams be creative there, because I've been on a retreat where it was just like normal yoga classes twice a day. And I was like, okay, that's weird. I mean,
exactly.
what's the point, basically? Where's the transformation? Where's really, like the life changing results happening? So, yeah, I think that could be a great offer. Just like, okay, for people who are probably nobody wants to say they are advanced. So that's also a really tricky word.
Yeah.
It's more like experienced.
Yeah,
So, experienced and want to go deeper and want to learn more, but maybe don't want to do a yoga teacher training. So
exactly.
how
They
can you
just
offer
wanna
them?
practice.
They just want
Yeah,
to practice, or maybe they want to also like get stronger. So you also like add some fitness classes on top of that, or collaborate with somebody else, like a nutritionist or a Pilates teacher, and create like this experience that's really going to help people grow and have a different experience than just going to a yoga class every morning.
exactly, and I think I love how you share, like, partnering with someone because you can't run a retreat on your own. Like, you are going to burn out, so you do need to have someone there, so find someone who teaches what you don't. That way, you both bring what you love and what you're good at to the table, and then your students have the best time because they gotta take a yoga class and a Pilates class, or a yoga class and breath work, or yoga and dance, and that way, like, they're gonna wanna come back and like, "Oh my god, are you hosting another yoga and dance retreat next year? I'm all in." That way, and it's also you get to have breaks throughout your retreat too, so you're not constantly there 8 to 9 hours a day. You have someone teaching a 2-hour class, so you could go eat, you could go on a walk, something like that, and that way, everyone has something that they can do, and it's optional at the same time.
I think it's also, yeah, a little bit safer because we always have
Yeah.
this plan B. Do you really, what happens when you get sick before the first day of the retreat, or your flight is suddenly delayed or canceled?
Yeah.
You plan for that.
Exactly, and that's so important. So the first day of the retreat, I really think that just needs to be a day to check people in, to do some kind of welcome circle and have a really nice dinner. There doesn't need to be anything fancy on the first day, and even that first full day, have the activities more toward the afternoon and end of the day, so if there are late arrivals, like, they don't feel like they're fully missing out on things. And again, it's being flexible within your, schedule, your itinerary. So if you have an itinerary, let's say, on your retreat landing page, I always say to make that one a little bit more general and open, and then they'll get the exact schedule maybe a week before the retreat and even say, like, hey, subject to change if travel issues happen, or if like something you're in Costa Rica and the power goes out due to the rain. Like, you just have to be really prepared and have backup options. And it's kind of like, what else am I good at outside of teaching yoga or whatever I'm teaching at this retreat that I can offer my guess. Something I have my clients do is like bring activities from home, like bring books, bring tarot cards, have people create earth altars, like get really creative on things people can do as backup options or during time off.
And maybe also arrive like at least a day before.
Yeah. Oh, I think
Yeah.
arriving at least 2 days before or even a week before would be
Hmm.
really good. So you can just get yourself situated. You're not worried about your jet lag. You're like eating healthy. The body's taken care of. And then you go to the retreat center and get set up. Do not arrive the day of. That is terrible planning in my opinion. Get there beforehand. Plan ahead for everything in your retreat business so things can run as smoothly as they can.
How long do you think people should start like setting up their retreats and marketing it before they do it?
Yeah, I have this funny saying that a yoga business is kind of like a pregnancy. It takes 9 months to really
Okay.
get it going. So because a lot of, and I see this a lot online, and I really want to just like talk some truth about this, is a lot of people will know like 9 to 12 months in advance that they're hosting a retreat. And then they wait until the last month to advertise it because they're suddenly in that panic mode. And I love to plan ahead. And this means you don't really have to advertise the retreat 9 months in advance. Maybe you advertise it 6 to 7 months in advance, but you use those extra 2 to 3 months to have your sales system, to have a marketing plan, a financial plan, to find your venue, to find your partners who are coming to this retreat, just to get things set up before you even announce it and launch it. And that way you are good on the back end of your business. Your website's ready to go. You have your checkout pages ready. You've tested everything out. You have contracts ready, itineraries ready, and then you launch this retreat and you work 6 to 7 months to get it filled. Typically, people book retreats more 3 months or less before the retreat, but it's if you're doing it somewhere in like a beautiful destination across the world, in Bali, in Peru, somewhere that's like a really long place to get to, let's say, we need to be advertising this well in advance because sometimes it's just helping people overcoming the fear of traveling abroad or traveling somewhere outside of their comfort zone. So there's a few things you just have to educate people on well in advance before you even get them excited to attend the retreat.
That's so good. Yes. I think, yeah, the longer before you can get started talking about it, the better. Give yourself
Yeah.
time and also realize that you are in this for the long term. So, word of mouth and people coming back. Obviously, that's going to take years to develop, to really build on
Yeah,
that.
I think minimum 2 years it's going to take you to really build the retreat business. And that's really like with any type of business in the yoga industry. Like give yourself 2 solid years to have time to make mistakes, to have time to learn, to get your audience built, to build a real community who are maybe coming to your in-person events, like in your local town or city. And then you're hosting a retreat and they trust you enough because you hold space for them in those smaller events to then go abroad with you or go a few hours away to host this retreat. So again, it comes down to that nourishment and that building of connections and relationships. And we start off small, and then 2 years down the road, you can be hosting some really magical and transformative retreats. And then maybe you start hosting them twice a year or 3 times a year, or maybe you just want to go crazy and like turn your whole business into retreats and host 5 a year. So it's really up to you what you want to build, but give yourself time and know that magnificent things take time.
Yeah, thank you. It's so inspiring. And I feel like, do you know, like I'm creating like a weekend retreat in Mallorca. So it was originally was a bonus for my mastermind students, but I want to open it like to everybody. It's happening end of March. I just like rescheduled from November to end of March. And I'm like putting it off, promoting it. I'm not promoting it anywhere. Nobody knows about it. Just like, oh,
Now everyone knows they're listening.
no, but
What kind of
this is what
retreat
it
is
is.
it?
It's a weekend with workshops, with connecting, with collaborating for yoga teachers and heartlet entrepreneurs. So we're going to have workshops on building your business, planning, maybe have a photo shoot. I have this beautiful boutique hotel room. So it's like a meeting room in a beautiful boutique hotel, and then people can book their own accommodations and flights and stay
Mhm.
longer if they want to. So it's just, yeah. Starting small, right? But maybe one day I'm
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
longer retreats in because I live in this beautiful place, right? So
Uh,
yeah, it's an idea. Might happen.
I think it can happen because you have been on your social media, like you have already painted the picture of Mallorca for us. And like when I think of you, I think of online yoga business and like the adventures you go on in your island. And I'm like, this is exactly what I want to do in my life. And you're already like creating that scenery for them because people really have to visualize themselves in a place. So I feel like the next best thing to do would be to launch a retreat there. And end of
Mm.
March, I mean, it's a weekend retreat. You still have time to do it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's happening. That's happening, that
Okay, it's
retreat
happening.
end of March. We'll just see like how many people. It's going to be small, maximum like 8 people or something. But it's also
Oh
like the
yeah.
idea of really having a villa for a week or something. That would be, yeah.
A
And,
dream of retreat. Ugh.
and it's a gorgeous place. And I think it would be so great to bring everybody together as well. So yeah, we have to have more talks how to set that up and how
Yes,
to
we
plan
will.
it.
I think so good that like if people like the people listening, like to have like a business branding shoot at a retreat, like that is a huge offer. And that's something that I would go to a retreat just for that because sometimes like if you are new in the industry or you just don't know what kind of photos you need, like they'll have you who's an expert there and then someone to take their photos. Like that is an experience in and of itself.
Can take the photos and set up the website
Yeah,
easily in a week.
done.
Yeah.
Go to this retreat.
No, I think it's like so interesting. We had the pandemic where everything was online, and I love
Yes.
all those hybrid models, business models showing up
Yes.
and growing, and like how yoga teacher trainings are so often hybrid now, how we take the best of the online world, like giving people the opportunity to really learn in their own time and in their own space, like through the theory, giving them access to that for life. They can go back to it. They don't have to listen. Like if you're in the yoga teacher training, I mean, we've been through that, right? So you're like 10 hours
Mhm.
and just listening. And in the end, you don't really, you can't even
No,
understand anything anymore. You just have like brain mush. And
it's
so like
true.
combining that, so so you can learn that online. You can create pre-recorded trainings and then you can meet in person. I think I think it's where the future is. And I think that's
Yeah.
also something that's interesting for retreat hosts, not to teach something online, but to offer some kind of community experience on top of to the live experience. Maybe have a Facebook group for your retreat guests, so where they can connect and not just about like traveling
Yeah.
there, but also just like to get to know each other already or to stay in touch after the retreat or to
I
offer
agree
that.
with this wholeheartedly. And it's so important. And it's like you said, like we don't want to do this 2 weeks before the retreat. Like I have a WhatsApp group for all of my retreat clients and people who just want to learn about retreats or talk to people about them. And sometimes I don't even have to be participating in it. And they're having their own beautiful conversations and creating connections. And I think if you're hosting a retreat, like let's say it's happening in May, you need to create this retreat by mid-March. So like they have enough time to connect with each other and not just about the retreat, but maybe it's like offering weekly prompts because I actually don't believe that we need to be blowing up people's social media or phones every day, maybe twice a week. And like Monday is just a check in. Like, how are we taking care of ourselves this week? Here's 3 ways you can do it if you need some help. And then like the other one is like, hey, like here's another thing you can do. Let's say you're hosting a business retreat. Like, here's 3 things you can do this week to help grow your online business. Get ready for the other 3 when we go on retreat. I can't wait to teach you. And that like you're building anticipation. And I say this to my clients who have already sold out their retreats because you don't know if someone could fall out of the retreat real quick and then you have an extra space open. So it's creating that community online of people talking of being like, oh my God, like a spot just opened up last minute. Do you want to come? And like you already created that nourishment for them. So of course they're going to come because they already trust you. And something that is new in the retreat industry that we really, in my opinion, just in yoga in general, is providing integration after the retreat. Like you create this beautiful, safe retreat bubble that's so transformative. And sometimes it's really hard for people to adjust back to real life after the retreat. So if there's some online like Zoom circles or just like community calls you can have with your people after the retreat, this is going to help them so much more. And you're continuously nourishing that relationship so they'll come to your next retreat. But really creating the community beforehand, the in-person community, and then like the safety and integration after, that's a retreat.
Yes, I love that. Yes, definitely. And I love, yeah, WhatsApp groups would be perfect, obviously, for connection. Everybody's using it, everybody's on it all day anyway. I would say your email list is also really
Yeah,
important, having an
I
email
agree.
list.
Yes, I send out 2 main emails every month, and I think you can sell in your email newsletters, absolutely, and creating nourishment at the same time. Something like a myth I'm trying to bust with my clients is like only want to like provide nourishment. And then like in tiny, tiny text at the bottom of the email newsletter, it's like, come to my retreat. And it's like, no, like we need to do both because they're both connected. And it's like, if you can create connection online, you can also tell them about the retreat where it's in-person connection. And having that email newsletter, I call mine like an email newsletter community because I want people to feel that love. I want them to know that they have online support well before the retreat. And also like to support them in their businesses right now if they don't come to the retreat, but maybe they'll come to one in 5 years. So really work on building the email newsletter. And it's because like WhatsApp, they're owned by Meta, as is Facebook and Instagram. That might be all gone one day. So your email newsletter is the way to go when it comes to building your community. Podcasting as well, because that's your own voice. So if there's ways that you can own parts of your business rather than using these third-party apps, that is how we want to build community and sell our retreats.
Yes, 100%. And when people sign up for your newsletter, they want to hear about your offers. They want to hear from you, right?
Exactly.
So
Why they're
you're
here.
not their best friend who's just checking in. How are you? This is not your
Yeah.
job. So yeah, but that is like this big mindset block issue,
Oh,
like
yeah.
like seven. So yeah. Oh my God.
That could be a whole other episode.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. What do you think about on your retreat sales page offering like another option beside the book now button? Not everybody who visits that page might be ready to book right now. So what happens there? Is it just like in going to the contact form? "Hey, I'm interested," asking that of people, can they already pay a deposit? Or can they maybe request only like more information? Send me a flyer, send me more information.
There's two things you can do besides a book now button. Something that's really trendy right now is having a downloadable PDF, and perhaps they give you their email so they can get that PDF and then they become your lead and you reach out to them. Another thing is to book a free retreat call. And this is a 20 to 30-minute call where they can get on a call with you like this and ask any questions they have about the retreat. 9 out of 10 times, if they book a call with you, like they're interested. So it's a really great place to sell the retreat and also to know, like, just because you get on a call with someone, you get to decide and they get to decide, is it a good fit? It's not like I need everyone to come to this retreat. Like it's almost an interview. Like, do they feel good for you? Do you feel good for them? And like, do you want them on the retreat? So after the book now button, have the downloadable PDF. You can create it on Canva, make it look so beautiful in your brand colors and fonts. And that way it matches the website, get their email from it, send them a welcome email, welcome them to your community. And maybe if they just did that, you also offer to get on that free call with them. What I do on my retreat landing page is we have them have all those book now buttons. And then after the FAQs, we say something like, still unsure, book a free retreat call. We can't wait to talk to you, or we can't wait to connect with you. And that way they know that you're a real person again and that you are someone that you are taking the time to talk with them. So they know that you care about them.
I love that. I love the option to making it optional, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I would hate to have to book a call. I don't like, but
I'm
I
the
think
same.
also, like, it's like different personalities, but to give people the option to hop on a
Mhm.
call, I think that's great. And yeah, that's what I tell my clients to definitely create like a flyer, an option, just like so people can sign up basically and they don't forget about it immediately. So
Yes.
often we see something, oh, this sounds interesting. Oh, yeah, I have to check with my friend if she wants to come maybe to this. And then, boom, it's gone. You forget about it. That link is somewhere hidden in the universe of the internet and never to be found again.
Exactly. Don't do it that way. But what I love about the downloadable, like if you have some kind of like email system like ConvertKit, is you can again have them sign up with their email and then maybe you send them like a 5-day nourish sequence. They get the first one is that downloadable and they get those 5 extra emails. So they know like they're getting a taste of what you already offer. Put some videos in there, introduce yourself, teach what
Yes.
you love, like, oh, make it
You
so
can
yummy.
introduce the location. You can share
Yes.
testimonials or stories from last year's retreat and really like wetten their appetite. Yeah.
Exactly. And something that I really suggest doing, and it's because I used to do this for retreat centers in Central America, is give people, if you can, or like get on an Instagram live with the owner of the retreat center and do a live tour and announce it maybe a week and a half in advance and have people submit all their questions. And then you're answering them while you're like showing the room, showing the destination, and you're going to get some bookings that way.
Ah, that's so much fun. Yeah, that sounds amazing. If they are open to it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There's some really great ideas. Thank you so much, Brytta, for sharing all that. I think I could go on and question and brainstorm for hours.
Me too.
But I want to wrap it up. Is there anything you wish I would have asked? Anything that you would still like to share?
Just have your system set up. Sometimes we, as yoga teachers, get super creative and it's like we have a shavasana, then we have this brilliant idea to host a retreat, but we have no idea how to do it. Get your systems in place, your landing page, your email newsletter, your social media, like really create a solid system and just be consistent in how you talk about it and get excited about it because you're offering something that's going to transform lives and know that we're in the industry of life transformation. And that's a really beautiful place to be.
Oh, that's such a beautiful ending. Thank you so much. So where can people go to learn more about you and to work with you when they're like ready? Like, yeah, I need you, Brytta, to help me set up my retreats.
Yeah, so you can find me in a few ways. You can find me at my website. It's theyogahostel.com. And you can find me on Instagram at Brytta Moreira.
Thank you. And I'll add the links to the show notes. Thank you so much, Brytta, for taking the time, for being here. I really appreciate it. And sharing your wisdom was amazing.
Thank you for having me. And thank you to everyone who listened.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Blissful Biz podcast. If you found this helpful, I'd love it if you hit subscribe and left a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other yoga teachers and coaches find these strategies too, and it would mean the world to me. It really makes a difference. And if you're ready to take the next step, head over to my website, susannereiker.com, where you'll find my free resources, latest blog posts, and all the ways we can work together to grow your online business. Until next week, keep building your blissful biz.